All thy watery face, reflected with a purer grace, thy many turnings through the trees, thy bitter journey to the seas, thou queen of rivers, Raritan. When English poet John Davis wrote those words in 1806, the Raritan was largely untouched. 200 years later, however, it was a largely different story. The Raritan had endured decades of industrial abuse from the chemical belt, especially along the lower part of the river. Environmental organizations like Edison Wetlands Association and New York, New Jersey Baykeeper took the lead in trying to change that.
The Edison Wetlands Association started the Raritan River Project back in 1989 with the goal of cleaning up the contaminated sites that were draining into the Raritan River estuary. We started with just two sites, the Kimbuck Superfund site and the chemical insecticide site, which are now essentially cleaned up. But what we have now is a much more widespread problem than we originally thought.
Historically, we have a lot of contamination both on the land side that's led to significant contamination of the sediments in the river, and until we get those cleaned and dredged and removed from the river, we're not going to have full use of the river, which includes edible fish, swimmable, and a safe place for people to access.
And the reason why you're not crabbing anymore?
From what I read in the newspapers, I stopped crabbing. Like I said, I didn't really crab here. I crab more down by the New Brunswick Bridge. You crab to catch stuff to eat, if you can't eat them, why bother? That's different than fishing. Fishing, if you want to catch fish and release them, but crabbing, when you go crabbing to eat them, So that's why I don't crab down here.
Have you seen an increase in fish population?
Fish populations, yes. More bait fish, more targeted species have come into the bay and are hanging for the whole summer. So we've got a good fishery throughout the summer in both the bay and the river.
The Raritan River is our border in the Casby section of town. It's a great natural resource. It's something we're very proud to have bordering our town, and we're hoping that a lot of work is done in the future toward cleaning it up and making it more available for recreation uses. We believe that the Casby area presents an opportunity for balanced development with the right emphasis placed on the environment. For example, the El Paso site has 160 acres. No one thinks it's going to be all warehouses. No one thinks it's going to be all wetlands. So in between's a mix that we can achieve a balance with to have the proper economic development to bring available to the township, yet protect the wildlife down there and all the natural resources and wetlands that exist in the area.
Woodbridge and all of the business owners and property owners in the Casby area along the Raritan River primarily, in conjunction with and partnership with Edison Wetlands, have worked on a very, very ambitious project, but a wonderful project that can be a model for other communities to follow. We're trying to create a balance between business owners, redevelopment, public access, and creating green space. Bringing all of these groups together has provided a wonderful platform to do that, and hopefully we'll be very successful in our effort.
We're down here at Perth Amboy along the Raritan, and you see the bridges behind me. For millions of New Jersey families, that's the only way they get to encounter the Raritan, is looking out the side of their car windows as they zoom down Garden State Parkway, Route 9, Route 35, or further upriver, the New Jersey Turnpike and Route 1. That's their only encounter with the Raritan. But as the state's longest river, it shouldn't be that way. And that's one of the things that all the groups working together today are trying to change. The Raritan we talk about as the longest river in New Jersey, but it's also significant regionally. How would you characterize the Raritan's significance to the greater New York Harbor?
First off, it brings a tremendous volume of water and associated sediments that come downstream. It's got a tremendous diversity and abundance of wildlife. It's a corridor for birds along the flyway. A lot of dozens of different fish species use the Raritan River. It's an active recreation area, although the lower part of the river has been more challenging for citizens and residents to get to than other areas. But it's an incredibly important part of the ecosystem, and it's a part that hasn't got the same kind of attention and resources to improve it that other areas like the Meadowlands, where there's been a tremendous renaissance, has taken place. It's really time for the Raritan River to take its place as a key component of the larger estuary.
Not only are fishermen and crabbers returning to the Raritan, but birders and wildlife enthusiasts are rediscovering the Raritan's scenic beauty and diverse wildlife. In fact, Edison Wetlands, Baykeeper, and Raritan Riverkeeper just launched the Raritan River Kayak and Canoe Club, giving people a chance to experience the wildlife firsthand. Have you seen, despite all the garbage, does it seem like the river is rebounding from the water standpoint, the wildlife? Have you noticed anything like that?
Well, I know last year we cleaned up the same spot, just different areas, and the river actually looked a lot cleaner. And in one of my classes, we actually saw harbor seals swimming in the river last week, which is really exciting.
So it sounds like getting down to the river firsthand, thank you, and seeing the river firsthand really makes a difference. And students are just in a hurry, rushing to and fro, trying to get down to the river, as you see here. And that in itself, I think we've noticed, and it sounds like it transfers to Rutgers students, is that seeing the river directly really makes a difference in terms of the enthusiasm.
Yes, it really does. Whenever we get students to actually go out to the river, they really are a lot more interested in making a difference with it and can really see the problems and the issues that it faces the river.
Judy, how do you envision a coalition of groups working together for the future of the restoration of the Raritan River?
The very essence of each group is that they have a committed team of people and a focus on all of the same values, and we really want to see if we can't bring those all together and use the power of the entire group to persuade people in policy areas that we are serious about this and that we are working together. I think in the future we have opportunities, economic and research oriented, that will build from the powers of all of the organizations and help us to restore the area in a way that can be maintained through projects from the Rutgers University campus.
Edison Wetlands often get asked, what is the Raritan River Project? And when you come down to the Raritan River, you understand why we need to clean up these areas. And the Edison Wetlands Association has been working on cleaning up toxic waste sites, holding those who have polluted the river accountable for cleaning it up, working on issues of public access so that people can once again come down to the river. We hope to see more people come in and work with us on those goals. We hope to bring more folks in from Rutgers and other areas because this is a common mission and this is something that benefits the entire region by making the Raritan River clean and green again.
I'm David Wheeler from WildNewJersey.tv, signing off from the banks of the Raritan River, New Jersey's own Queen of Rivers.